They promised privacy. They promised encryption. They promised they would never sell your data. But behind the green logo, behind the friendly messages, behind the end-to-end encrypted promise, a betrayal was happening. This is the story of WhatsApp, and why many now say it sold out its users. The story begins in 2009 with two engineers, Jan Kelm and Brian Acton. Both were veterans of Yahoo, having spent a decade inside the engine room of the early internet. They had seen firsthand how the web was being reshaped by advertising, data collection, and corporate interests. Disillusioned, they left. At the time, the world communicated through SMS text messages, a system controlled by mobile carriers, limited to 160 characters and notoriously expensive, especially across borders. John Kuhn, an immigrant from Ukraine, knew this pain personally. He wanted a better way to stay in touch with his family. The name came to him almost instantly: WhatsApp, a play on what's up. They weren't trying to build an empire. They weren't trying to get rich. In fact, both had recently been rejected for jobs at Facebook. They had one simple, almost defiant idea: a messaging app with no ads, no tracking, and no games. A utility, not a social network. To make the mission clear, John Kuhn taped a note to his desk, a promise that would later be written on the office wall: no ads, no games, no gimmicks. The product reflected this purity. WhatsApp was clean, simple, fast. It just worked, using a phone's internet connection to bypass the carriers entirely. And most importantly, private. People trusted it. The growth wasn't driven by marketing budgets. It was driven by word of mouth. A student would show their friend, a traveler would tell their family back home. It spread like wildfire. Millions joined, then tens of millions. By early 2013, there were over 200 million active users, sending billions of messages a day, then hundreds of millions more. WhatsApp wasn't just an app anymore. It was becoming the planet's central nervous system, a private, unmonitored space for human connection, a quiet rebellion against the data-hungry giants of Silicon Valley. But that rebellion was about to be tested, because the giants were watching, and they were willing to pay a very high price to own the future of communication. In 2014, Facebook came knocking. Mark Zuckerberg offered $19 billion, not million, not 100 million, $19 billion. It was one of the largest tech acquisitions in history, and WhatsApp promised nothing will change. They said no ads, no data sharing, no tracking, no Facebook influence. They said WhatsApp would remain independent. But here's the truth. When Facebook buys you, you are never independent. For 2 years after the acquisition, the promise of independence seemed to hold. To its billion-plus users, WhatsApp felt the same. The app was still simple, still ad-free, still encrypted. But behind the curtain, in the boardrooms of Menlo Park, a fundamental shift was underway. Slowly, quietly, things began to change. In August 2016, WhatsApp published a blog post that sent shockwaves through the tech world. It was a complete reversal of their foundational principles. For the first time, they would start sharing user data with their parent company, Facebook. The official reason was to coordinate more with Facebook. They claimed it would help fight spam and improve experiences by offering better friend suggestions and more relevant ads on Facebook's platforms. But for users who had chosen WhatsApp specifically for its privacy stance, this felt like a profound betrayal. The data being shared wasn't the content of your messages. End-to-end encryption still protected that. But it was everything else. Your phone number, the very key to your account. How often you use the app. When you were last online. Even device information, like your operating system and screen resolution. All of this metadata was now on the table. The same company that had famously posted a note on John Kuhn's desk that read, "No ads, no games, no gimmicks." The same company that promised, "We will never sell your data," was now feeding it directly into the largest, most sophisticated data profiling machine on Earth. The public backlash was immediate. Users were furious. Privacy advocates and regulators exploded, particularly in Europe, where data protection laws were much stricter. But the most damning reaction came from within. For co-founder Brian Acton, this was the final straw. He had watched the company he built slowly succumb to the corporate pressures he had always resisted. He was so angry. He left, walking away from $850 million in unvested stock options. A few months later, in the midst of the Cambridge Analytica scandal, Acton posted a simple 5-word tweet that went viral. "It is time. Just delete Facebook." Let that sink in. A man who helped build WhatsApp into a global phenomenon was now publicly telling the world to abandon the very company that had made him a billionaire. That's not a business dispute, that's a warning flare, fired from the heart of Silicon Valley, a signal that something was deeply, fundamentally broken. To understand what happened to WhatsApp, we have to confront an uncomfortable truth of the digital age. It's a phrase you've likely heard before, but its implications have never been more profound. If a product is free, you are the product. This isn't just a clever saying, it's the fundamental business model for much of the modern internet. And WhatsApp is a masterclass in its execution. Think about it. WhatsApp doesn't charge you a subscription fee. And unlike its parent company's other platforms, it doesn't show you ads. This clean, uninterrupted experience was a core promise, a key reason 2 billion people trusted it with their daily lives. So how does a company that cost $19 billion with massive global operating expenses make money? The first, most direct answer is the WhatsApp Business API. This isn't the free app small businesses use. It's a powerful paid service for large corporations. It allows companies like airlines, banks, and e-commerce giants to manage customer service, send shipping notifications, and run marketing campaigns directly inside the app you use to talk to family. Meta charges them per conversation, turning your chats into a direct revenue stream. But that's only the visible part of the strategy. The far more valuable asset is ecosystem control. WhatsApp doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's a critical piece of the Meta empire, a data pipeline that feeds the larger machine. This is where we get to the heart of the matter, behavioral intelligence. While your messages are end-to-end encrypted, meaning Meta can't read the content, they can see everything the content. This is the crucial distinction between your data and your metadata. They can't see the photo you sent, but they know you sent one. They don't know what you said, but they know exactly who you talk to. They know when you talk, how often you talk, from what location, and on what type of device. They see the groups you're in, the businesses you interact with, and the patterns of your social life. Even if the messages themselves are locked in a vault, this metadata is gold. It allows Meta to build an incredibly detailed shadow profile of you, your habits, your relationships, your interests, without ever reading a single word you've typed. This profile makes their advertising on Facebook and Instagram surgically precise. And Meta knows exactly how to monetize gold. In 2021, WhatsApp updated its privacy policy. Most users didn't even read it, but hidden inside was this: data would now be shared more deeply with Facebook for business purposes. Translation: your conversations fuel their ecosystem. Millions panicked. Signal downloads exploded. Telegram surged. People felt betrayed, not because WhatsApp changed, but because it lied. It was never supposed to be this. Jan Koum, the other founder, also left. He walked away from billions. Why? Because WhatsApp had become the exact thing he hated. He once said, "Advertising is an insult to intelligence." And now, his creation was part of the largest advertising machine in history. Imagine building something pure, watching it get absorbed, and realizing you lost control. That is the real betrayal. This is not just about WhatsApp. This is about power. When one company owns Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, they don't just own apps, they own They don't need to read your messages. They just need to understand you, and that is more dangerous. WhatsApp didn't fail. It didn't collapse. It sold out. From a privacy-first rebel app to a data asset inside a trillion-dollar machine. This isn't conspiracy. This is business. And in business, ideals are expensive. Control is priceless. So next time you open WhatsApp and see that green icon, remember, behind it is one of the most powerful companies on Earth. Watching, learning, collecting. This is not luck. This is not accident. This is strategy. And this is the hidden file.